your online privacy today by heading to expressvpn.com/rttv.
Oh, hello. Welcome
Hey!
to the
Was
Death
that
Metal
faster
Cast.
than normal? That felt faster.
We're usually quick,
What?
yeah.
Yeah.
The
okay.
intro. I'm already derailing
We
the
are the
show.
super sped up version of Death Metal Cast, I guess. And we are the cast and crew of Death Metal and more, including a new show that we're going to be talking about today. So I am Ben, the voice of Wiz. Joining me, as always, is Chad, voice of Boomstick. What's up,
Hi.
Chad? And Sam, voice of Sam.
That's me.
And Epic
Is that
Beard
Sam
Grower.
voice? Yes, and we've got a guest on today who's been on a few times now, which is awesome. It's always great to have you, Liam.
Why, thank you. Hello, everybody.
Liam
Welcome.
is a frequent writer.
Wider?
Yeah.
He
writer.
makes the show wider. He
Yeah.
increases the girth.
I
It's a
widen the
girthy show
appeal.
now.
Yeah. It's thick with 2 C. No K.
He also has this
the-
like power angle going on with his camera right now.
It's
And with
very,
that window in the
very
back.
Dadaist. Yeah, the one
Mhm.
window.
You're a little
which
dark, so
lets in
you're
not
just
enough
very
light.
ominous today.
My room is a little box. This room is not actually a bedroom. Turns out when we got the apartment, it is a transformed hallway.
Fun.
So yeah, it works out pretty well. There's no electrical outlet in here. I have to. It's all extension cords, which means that
Oh,
I'll
fun.
probably burst
That's,
into flames in the middle of my sleep. You know, it's good.
That's some real New York shit right there.
It's super New York. It's super New York.
Yeah,
But I
converted
wanted this
Getting a
hallway.
way
real experience
because
over there.
it cost less. The rent is so much less because of this room.
Out of
so there
curiosity,
you go.
what does this rent look like?
You want me to tell you? You take a guess.
I mean, if you don't
Take a
mind.
guess. Yeah.
I mean, how big is the room? How big is the room?
Oh my
God,
gosh!
it is straight up a hallway. Okay.
this desk is against the door. Like the door is right over there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's that. There it is. Yeah,
650.
650.
How many
And-
people
yeah,
do you
this is
live
for-
with? That helps.
I
How many
live with-
people do you live with?
There's 2 other bedrooms. I live with 2 other people.
This is
and,
fun.
So you're the one who got
Sounds
stuck with the hallway.
yeah,
Or all the
I wanted
bedrooms
this one.
hallways.
This one's connected to the living room and then the kitchen, so it's actually perfectly placed. The other 2 are back that way. Yeah. So you're saying 650? Is that your final
Yeah,
guess?
650. Yeah, that's my final answer. Yeah.
540.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Wait, where?
For a
But
Queens
but
apartment?
obviously, it matters.
Yeah.
Is like Queens. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I feel like Sam had a
Oh
little
my
bit of
God,
judgment
man.
there, but he held it back.
No, I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't know shit about New York to judge. I don't know anything. I've been to Queens. I don't really fucking remember it. Had a decent
it's-
slice of pizza. It was
Yep.
Queens. What do you want?
Yeah. Did you go to Rays?
I assume
There's a million
if your
different
roommates have actual rooms, they're paying like
They do.
twice that much.
Not twice, but
Yeah, actual rooms,
much-
man.
but
You
much
gotta
more.
have.
They have actual bedrooms, yeah, with actual windows and actual electrical outlets and actual air conditioners. Until recently, just got my AC. Had
Yay.
to suffer through the
Oh,
last
man.
summer. Finally got it.
What's your temperatures like
Beautiful.
over there? What are you complaining about here? Is it like 85?
This is just the New York
It's exactly
quiz
85
today. All right.
right now. It's 85.
Wow.
But you see,
okay.
you have to remember that New York is a
Right.
swamp. It's a swamp, and then they built concrete over it with big metal. So it's an oven. It's a pizza oven. How appropriate. So it's nuts. It's bad,
Okay.
but we're
Alright.
surviving.
It's a bad 85 in
Yeah.
New York today.
Bad 85.
A nasty 85.
Dude, well, it's like
Well-
it was like yesterday, the day before. The humidity was insane. I walked outside for like a second, and it was just like, nope, fuck that, and then I just
Yeah.
turned around and walked back inside.
Goodbye.
Mhm.
Back to my bedroom.
Well, Liam is the getting us back on the wagon here.
Death Battle.
The writer for a new show. He's been writing Death Battle for a while now, and we brought him on as the writer for this new show we're doing, which just released its first episode. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a little thing that we like to call Death Race. Not the movie with
Yay. Sorry.
It's
Yeah.
Eric Segal or any of those people. The Rooster Teeth's online TV series Death Race, on the web series Death Race. That's the official title, sure. So we don't get in trouble. But Death Race is something we've talked about for ages about doing in an actual death battle before, and it's just never really panned out. But we managed to get a good little sponsorship deal that allowed us to explore this new, rule set
it's a
show
miniseries.
style, essentially. That's very different
Genre.
from what we normally do. Genre of death shows.
Yeah.
And we brought Liam on because he's great, right? It's shining endorsement, I'm sure. So we can go ahead and talk a little bit about the lead in into that, and like how you were kind of brought on, Liam, because like at first we weren't really sure how to handle Death Race, especially because, as you will see in upcoming episodes, some of the matchups get crazy. Like it gets a little wild.
This was the normal
starts
one.
like here and just like goes. Yeah. This one's the most tame one by a long shot.
far.
I think
By
next
far.
episode people are gonna realize like what the show is and how off the literal
Yeah.
rails it gets. Like it gets pretty fucking wild
For
next
sure.
episode.
I mean, it's just so fun that just start with like the Batman race, and then the next one is just like fucking like Thomas the Tank Engine and all that shit. Like, so,
Shh, we haven't have we announced that? I guess we kind of
it's at the end. It's at the
Yeah.
end. Everybody's already figured out exactly what those silhouettes were immediately.
Well, actually, we
Yeah.
can talk about that later because I went through the entire like comment section on Twitter of that post where we show off the silhouettes, and nobody has correctly guessed one of the cars.
I've yet to see it correctly.
That's really
Oh,
funny.
I know which one. Yeah, but I mean, like everyone
Yeah.
saw Thomas. Like they were like, yeah. Anyway,
Oh yeah,
I mean, it could
they
be some other train.
they got them pretty
Yeah.
quick.
There are plenty of
What's
trains. It could be
Isn't there- Doesn't he have like a rival, like a red rival, like the Knuckles train, the Proto
yeah.
Man train?
oh crap.
I don't-
Okay,
I'm
when I
not
look
up
up
to date on
popular
my-
train
my
characters,
Thomas lore.
it's just Thomas.
yes.
It could be Speedy McAllister from
Oh shit, Speedy.
I don't know, the railways of Crotunia. I have no idea what I just like stumbled into.
Sounds hot.
Some of the cartoonist trains. I don't know. I looked up like popular trains because I was like, it could be somebody else.
I mean,
that's the
as,
first
as
thing that
everyone
came up.
Googles.
What if there's like a
It has
in
train
their
like
search
shonen?
history.
Yeah, train shonen. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
There is that
Yeah,
one,
what if-
like, there is one. They did. It's like it's not a main character or protagonist or anything, but there is that one anime that is like about trains, and it's like that the famous clip where the train
Dragon Ball?
drifts and like
Oh no.
no,
Oh,
it's 'cause
yeah.
there's a drifting train. Like I don't know what it's actually from.
Oh,
Whatever this.
Oh, there we
is.
go. Yeah,
Yeah,
him.
it's that guy. He looks more capable, if I'm being honest.
He looks
Starlight
like he's a bullet
Express.
train. He could
it was
destroy.
a musical about trains.
Man, it
don't
has
know why I
been
know that.
funny seeing the reaction to Thomas though, because like I made a post on the Death Battle Twitter that was like that feeling when you realize Thomas the Tank Engine has a much bigger fan base than you ever
Yeah.
expected, and
Mm-hmm.
now he's in a death race. Womp womp.
I mean, honestly, and Chad just mentioned Starlight Express, which is an old like Broadway play.
Yes, it
I don't
is.
know if it's Broadway, but it's still a stage play. But that was actually the director that wanted to be based off Thomas the Tank Engine and didn't get
What,
the rights
really?
to it and still made yeah. That's how influential Thomas is in train media. Is that even the
Wow.
other, even Chad's deep train pole that he got from nowhere is connected to Thomas the Tank Engine. Like, fucking yeah, Thomas is, as far as like top 10 influential trains go, it's Def Thomas. Like he's number one.
Oh wow.
No doubt.
I hope I represented him faithfully.
I think we did a no. We
I
did.
like
we-
captured the.
Well,
Like,
that's
after
that's,
his
that's the
elements.
thing.
well.
Can I get his joie
So-
de vivre?
Death Race is animated by, we've mentioned it before, but it's animated by a YouTuber who goes by Devil Artemis. And if you are familiar with Devil Artemis's content on YouTube, you know that he has a very distinct style of humor that he loves to really focus on and express. And that style of humor doesn't typically fit like a standard death battle format, right? Death battles, I mean, at the end of the day, death battle is ridiculous and silly, right? Because it's a versus fight between two fictional characters that don't really matter in the long, grand scheme of things. But it is played generally straight in the death battle format. We didn't really want to do that with Death Race, if you've seen the first episode. And we really wanted to lean into Devil's brand of humor and his ability to just improvise and go ham with Source Filmmaker, which is what he uses to animate this series. And so handing off the script, and Liam also has an interesting humor style that comes across in a lot of his scripts that we end up having to trim down just a little bit for Death Battle episodes. And so it kind of worked out in a way where I was like, Liam could kind of match what Devil does if we just let him go and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's
what
I think it works out okay. That's basically how this worked out, right? Like we gave you the script, we gave you the episodes. Yeah. We let you just kind of go with it.
Yeah, there was no like, and not that there was no kind of guiding force, but there was a lot of like, clearly it was like I was in like a big part of my job was determining what kind of direction like thematically it would go in. And so yeah, that's kind of what I did. I just kind of went, let's do it. Let's go for it. And more ideas were included in these episodes than I thought there'd be. Like a lot more. I sent in a couple of drafts and been like, okay, here we go. So like I know this is gonna be cut. And then that and that were not cut.
Well, it was when we did that script review.
Yeah, the
joke that we
great
had to
one.
alter a little bit because we knew it wouldn't work, but like it was just so fucking funny. We knew we had to keep like the aspect of that joke in there, and like just.
Oh, are you talking about the one that's in the next episode?
Yeah.
Liam, we'll definitely have to have you on an episode of Cast later on after all these Death Race episodes air, so we can get into the nitty gritty of the other scripts.
Because the Batmobile one is the most normal one.
Yeah,
it is.
I feel like we should tone it down a little bit because I don't want to like oversell how ridiculous it gets, because it doesn't necessarily get to a point where it's like planets are exploding and like clowns are dancing everywhere.
No.
It doesn't get that far.
That's
as everyone thinks of, planets exploding and clowns dancing everywhere. The real end times.
Are we doing
Sounds terrifying to me.
premieres on YouTube for these? Like we do for Death Battles? Are we doing the live premiere feature on YouTube?
There was a premiere for the first one, yes, on YouTube.
I really want to be. I want to be in the chat for this next.
Oh,
so bad.
Yeah.
Dude, it was really interesting watching the reactions, because we've been a little cagey, right, about what Death Race is going into this, because I honestly wasn't really sure how to present it without it feeling like a weird, I don't know. I was worried about describing it and having people be disappointed that it wasn't Death Battle or DBX. Because it's not either of those. And it's hard to even say that it's like a blend of the two, even though it does definitely use elements from both of them. So I just kind of wanted to see people's natural reactions to not just watching the first episode, but learning what Death Race is. And watching the chat during the premiere of people going like, oh, so it's like DBX, as Ringmaster popped up, and then we went through like the rundowns of the cars, and then Wizamoobsy popped up, and then they were like, oh, wait, what? This is different? Is it like Death Battle? And then Chad does his dumb bat. What was it? A bat beer joke? Or whatever. Yeah. And then that's it. That's the only thing Wizamoobsy do before the race starts, and then it just moves on to the ads. So everybody was like really thrown off by that as well. And then it got into the actual race, and it starts off, pretty straightforward. Like, oh, shoutcasting with just cars driving everywhere. And then Robin activates a nuke. And
Oh, yeah.
laughs
Oh, my
like a
God.
maniac.
My favorite part.
And everybody watching in the chat was just like, "What the fuck are we watching?" And that was the general reaction to it. It was great.
For him to laugh maniacally, I'd forgotten that I actually wrote that part in. So it caught me by
This is
surprise. I was like, "This is just
It
like my
works
sense
well.
of humor," and I went, "Oh, right," because I wrote it.
Yeah.
And we
well,
got
I do. Okay, now you go. You do.
we got two voice actors that have been in Death Battle before, Cameron and Nicholas Andrew Louis, to voice the Adam West and Burt Ward, Batman and Robin, and we ended up basically having them voice a lot of characters throughout the rest of the series. So like we've already shown that Sonic is in it, so Nicholas returns as Sonic for yet again. Actually, speaking of Nick, Nervous Nick is back editing, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Yay.
What were you
It's
going to say,
nice
Sam?
To have him back. Oh, I was gonna say we have I was just gonna move the show along to where we were hoping to get it.
Oh, okay, fine.
But we can keep talking
Mr.
about we can keep talking about Death Race if we want. Like it's fine. I was just just say it.
All right, Mr.
Wait,
Producer, what's next on the track?
Well, we had a question from somebody on Twitter that I thought Liam could help us with. Cody, I don't know if you can pull that up, but so there's this guy right here, Rob Cunningham, is a math teacher, a math and physics teacher, and he wants to show students an episode of Death Battle that showcases how you can use math and physics to explore topics you love. And he asked us for suggestions on episodes to show them. And I thought, who better than to have between Ben, Liam, and I, we wrote probably like 60-70% of Death Battle, so we could probably figure out what a good episode is for him.
Yeah, there's so many to pick from.
Wait, sorry, I was kind of distracted a bit. What was can you bring up the question one more time?
How dare you?
What basically a math teacher wants to show off his students
specifically
an
episode of Death Battle that really
Math
showcases
and
how to use math and physics to explore a topic you love.
It's because we use a lot of the same formulas for a lot of different things. So I'm trying to think of like what's like the weirdest formula or thing we've tried to calc.
I would almost think it would be like better to have it a little more grounded. Like my first thought was Batman, Black Panther, because they're not too astronomically like super. Right. Like it's a lot of like, I don't want to say basic, but a lot of real world kind of like, oh yeah, breaking a stone pillar is something like that's a lot easier to comprehend rather than like, oh, he punched a meteor to bits. Like, there's it's more tangible, like amount of force you can imagine. So like that was one of my first thoughts, but I also think, I don't know. I can't remember every episode in the math that goes into it.
If you want something really kind of cartoony, so that people can kind of like attach these really weird things that they see in this media to something that like you can actually measure, something like Mario versus Sonic, where like Mario kicks a castle.
Yeah, that's
like you can calculate, because I remember Ultra did so much. One of our researchers got a pixel, like a fully like a layout of the entire castle map, and then pixel measured all of it in order to get the volume of that castle and the energy it would take to kick it, like Mario did. Something like that would also
that's a really
would be really fun. That's a good suggestion. Mario Sonic might be it. That's
I agree. I think that might be the best option. What you kind of touched on it. One of the most difficult things about presenting calculations and stuff in Death Battle is so many of these characters reach a point where it's just like the number outside of the direct comparison between the two characters, the numbers themselves almost don't matter that much, because they reach these like not immeasurable, but impossible to like understand levels.
It's hard to relate to them.
Well, I mean,
such and such can hit with a force of 5,000 megatons of TNT. It's like, what does that really mean? Like to you and me, right? It doesn't mean much.
Unless
you go to like a cosmic level.
Like, Yeah, as a physics teacher, I don't think he wants to be like, and then 100 times the speed of light, which we don't know. Which
Yeah, I
is,
was gonna
like,
say,
Oh yeah, hey,
Avoid
just show
any of
Flash
those.
Quicksilver. Show him that one. Have
Yeah,
fun with
like,
that.
that's one
That
I
was
would
great.
not show him. Don't show him Flash Quicksilver. That one is some shit.
Dude, I will say the second half of Death Battle is coming up starting in August, and we have some matchups that definitely reach into that like area where it's just like none of this shit makes any logical sense when you think about it. These like numbers and whatnot, like it gets crazy. Not gonna spoil any of these episodes, but like the Beerus episode might be one of those. Just, I mean, it's a Dragon Ball character. Of course, it's gonna be.
He gets pretty buck wild. But there are some other ones. 19 will probably be very grounded and great, but that's going to be months away.
Yes.
So
I was going to say one of my favorite calcs we've ever done is in an upcoming episode. So I was about to say it. I was like, what about? And I went, oh, no, hasn't happened yet.
So,
Oh wait, no. All Might guy, the broccoli calculation. That's really good. That's a
Mob Tatsumaki.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Mob Tatsumaki. I don't know why.
The amount of energy to grow a piece
Grow
of
it, shine.
broccoli.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I remember that.
Yeah,
That's actually a really
so
good one because that's like a fun, real outside the box solution to that too.
Right.
Like,
yeah, so Mob
to try and
Tatsumaki. I don't know why I
quantify
said Might guy versus All Might, but
energy and being like, how do we do that? It's like, well, when they grow broccoli, like there's a real like that in real life it takes energy to grow something. So maybe we can
everything
look at
that
that and
happens.
dive deep into that. And
Everything that
that's
happens
a good
is an
one.
energetic exchange.
So Mario Sonic.
Well, okay, real quick, I do want to say that there is a caveat to some of these, in that like while the calculations that we do our best to make sure that we are correct and we are exploring as many different avenues with these numbers as possible, we are also presenting them to an audience that the majority of which doesn't care too much about all the minutia of actually getting to that number. So a lot of the times when we are presenting these calcs, we do so in a very like broad, general way.
We don't show our work.
So, well, we show our work on screen, but we don't really talk about like all the different steps we went through to get there. And sometimes I feel really bad about it because our research team, like Liam, you know this,
for sure.
You and like Ultra Guy and Strutton and all the rest of the team like put so much work into finding like all these little details about how things should be calculated. What like if we're talking about stone, like what kind of stone are we supposed to be using? Like the volume of that stone and how much it really impacts like the sort of impact that is being or
I've memorized
what kind
the
of impact is hitting
granite
it
at this point.
Yeah, like what's the difference between
what was
pulverization and vaporization? You know, those kinds of things we talk about, but we don't go into like hardcore detail about all the specific details because it would basically take up the whole episode for a lot of these feats, and it's not what people come to Death Battle to watch. So presenting it in front of a class, I would say that you have to keep that in mind, that like we are not doing it in a way that would necessarily match what you're probably looking for in terms of how your students would be presenting it themselves. That being said, it might be a good way to like start it and lead into it. And Mario Sonic, I think, is one that is a great example that does have enough to sort of like build on that, because we do go into the details of like measuring the castle and the pixel by pixel and comparing heights and whatnot of Mario to the bricks. And that all is in there, described by Wiz and Boomstick, not just with text. So that would Mario Sonic is probably the best example. But a lot of these other ones, like I don't even remember. I'm trying to remember how we presented the broccoli thing, because that might have just been all on screen because we were just like, the energy of a broccoli is this, and then we just moved on because like that's such a weird thing to discuss.
It was probably volume, like multiplying how much larger the broccoli was compared to a regular stick of broccoli, and then measuring like the calories. I think it might have been of like a regular piece of broccoli, and then
I'm legitimately looking at the Death Battle wiki because they transcribe all our Death Battle episodes, which is great. I love them for it.
It's very
and they do a pretty good job of it too. Okay, it looks like actually we did do describe it quite a bit. We can actually use this broccoli. I'm just reading it. We can actually use this broccoli to get a general idea of mobs absorbing limits. Broccoli typically requires 143 kilojoules of energy to grow 1/10 of a kilogram's worth. Scaling this giant one to nearby buildings, we found it to be 21 million times larger than the average broccoli. So like that's an example of like we don't say how we got the building height and like how we got to that comparison, but the text is on screen to provide that.
Yeah,
Listen,
I think also.
Yeah, that's it.
Good. No, you go for it.
I just was gonna say, like, it's so funny. Like, we've had a handful of teachers reach out to us, asking if they could have like a script or if they could show off an episode, and I think it's just so crazy. Normally, it's like teachers that are doing research papers. That they like basically your whole show is like a very in-depth research paper. Can we get a script so that like we could like show people like and like identify the different parts of like and that's been super cool. We've always been like sure, but I think this is the first time we've had a math teacher / physics teacher reach out. So breaking new ground.
Yeah, definitely. But I do think Mob Tatsumaki, I was just going to say it's probably a good one because he's teaching kids and they'll know about Mob Tatsumaki. I feel like they're on that wavelength, You can't show them some like old school heroes and they'll be like, who are these guys? Like, what's this shit? Like, so.
Kenshiro. Yeah.
Gotta get him with the anime. Like.
All right, Star Fox versus Bucky O'Hare.
There we go.
Right?
We're definitely going to know what that is. God, when was the last time anybody like under the age of 20 ever mentioned like Bucky O'Hare? And has that ever actually happened in the history of mankind? Poor Bucky O'Hare, man.
I know.
I wanted him to win so bad. I was
Me
like,
too.
Dude, you want to talk about the weirdest fucking coincidence ever? Is that this episode was one that I pushed for. It's my fault. Because I was just like, I love the matchup. I think it makes a lot of sense. We're going to do it. Fuck it. When we released that episode, Ben and I got booked at a convention in Florida called Asylum, which was like a spin-off of this big anime convention.
Oh, God.
And
Asylum
one of
was
the
terrible.
I know, I felt so bad for them. Oh, no, the staff.
Well, the
staff
people were
and,
great.
Were
Nobody
amazing.
showed up was the problem.
Just no one came. We felt really bad. But their anime convention is very, very large and very successful, which is great. But the spin-off convention,
MetroCon, that was cool.
Yeah,
we went there as well.
Yeah, Metro was great. But anyway, so literally like this random ass episode that I was just like, let's do it. It's come the day that it's airing. We're at a convention with Scott McNeil, who has voiced like everything from the fucking like your childhood, but he played Deadeye Duck in Bucky O'Hare.
oh my God.
So I got to literally just be like, this is the most random shit ever. But like, I know what Bucky O'Hare is, and we just did an episode on it. Like, and he's like, oh, that was cool. And it's just like, what planets aligning to anyone just
shot
doing
him
anything
in the
with
head.
that? Yeah.
Sea Fighter in the chat just wrote that he actually wrote a college paper on Death Battle before.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
Which is crazy.
Oh my God.
I mean, I guess there's definitely
What
stuff
is
to
it
talk about.
Can I see that paper?
Like, now I'm curious.
I want to read it now.
Do you still have it? Can you post it online?
Everything you say is wrong.
That's cool.
He said he got a B plus or an A. So it must have been pretty good.
A B plus or an A? Well, clearly it wasn't that
I don't
memorable, then was it? No, I'm just
Why
kidding.
Goku actually owned Superman?
It's just a paper about like
The
it's a
teacher's like,
debunking
A
paper.
plus, I know. It's bullshit.
Oh my God. Hey, we're supposed to talk about what's going on.
Oh yeah, what's going on?
whatever.
So during this time, having a beer with your friends is a little, let's say, tumultuous. It's very different than it used to be, but that doesn't mean you can't have Miller time. Miller time is a moment people come together and just share a beer and like talk. It's not, what a lot of people do these days, but it's probably what more people should do. And even though we can't necessarily see each other in real life, at least not within 6 feet apart, you can still get on like a Zoom call or something and have a beer with your friends. So don't let all this crazy stuff in the world keep you and your friends away from enjoying some time together, especially over a couple of cold beers, which you should know here at the Death Battle team, we wholeheartedly condone drinking beer. So yeah, right now, have a Miller, enjoy your friends, enjoy a little bit of the good parts of life. And the best way to do that, well, probably get it delivered. Which, if you didn't know, Miller Lite can be delivered through tons of services right now, and it can go straight to your door. You don't have to go outside. You don't have to worry about social distancing. You can just have some good old Miller at your house. So, Miller Lite, the original light beer. While you're home, enjoy a classic. Available for delivery today. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3 carbs per 12 ounces. Yeah, it's Miller time, y'all. I never thought I'd get to say that slogan. It's so much fun as a grown-up now. Good times. Go get a Miller.
What is going on? I don't really know what's going on.
I think we were supposed to do the teacher question for what's going on.
Well, then we already did it. It's time for the community.
I mean, fair enough. It's that time. Here's where there's a bit of a fuck up. So this week is DBX. It is a spicy one, boys. It's Ben 10 versus Danny Phantom.
Oh my god! Of course we would have Liam on for this episode.
Is this why you had me on?
Yep.
We have a bit of a reputation with the Ben 10 crowd. So needless to say, the comment section we typically pull from was rather toxic, and I would rather look for something that's a little bit more fun and funny. So instead, I looked at one of our more recent tweets. But just so you know, there's a tweet on the Death Battle account on Twitter, or you can go to YouTube and watch the current Death Battle that just came out. My mind is blanking.
Wait, are you talking about DBX?
Yeah, Kid Goku versus Gon was the most recent one. So you can go watch that one. The link's in the description. You can vote on Ben 10 Danny Phantom, or you can go to our Twitter and vote on Ben 10 Danny Phantom right now.
No, you got to mix up. Ben 10 Danny Phantom just came out.
Which is what we would be talking about. Sorry. Next one is Kenshin versus Law, which is a cool one. It's like, it's rare that we get to do a samurai fight. But so we got that going. You can vote on that now. What we're going to talk about for Community Death Battle, though, is everybody's prediction on the silhouettes for the next death race. Because we posted a tweet that was just like, here's the silhouette of the 4 cars. People are pretty on point for most of them, but the third car in the lineup, people just cannot seem to. I went through every single tweet, and so far, no one has guessed it correctly. So I just wanted to take a look at some of these ones. So if we can start off here, Cody.
Sure. Okay, we got the car from Cars, Thomas the Tank Engine, Something, and Optimus Prime. What's the third one in line? A lot of people are saying Herbie, so I did it. So did I at first glance, but after going back and staring at the silhouette for a few minutes, I think it's possible it could be Wheelie from the old Hanna-Barbera cartoon of the same name. I don't know.
Oh my god!
Wheelie was that kid that was another deep poll. I was like, Wheelie, Wheelie, like what?
Yeah.
Which I mean, to be fair, isn't completely unheard of for us.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Bucky O'Hare.
Herbie the Love Bug, Optimus Prime. That's my guess too. With the number 2, the only one I'm sure, the only one I'm unsure on is Herbie. Could be Generation 1 Transformers Bumblebee.
I like how you had to dunk on this fucking Deadpool kid. The wrong.
Some random Twitter post.
I'm spreading dramatically. I am spreading knowledge. All right.
Yeah. So Gen 1 Bumblebee, which I thought was a pretty interesting one that they thought we would have Optimus.
Yeah, we're having Gen 1
Optimus.
Optimus in there.
The clear Transformers bias.
Yeah.
Do we have more?
Oh yeah.
Oh look.
Yes.
Fucking throwing a fucking putt right here.
Oh my
This is
god.
a boy from back in the day. Which I saw this one instantly was just like, fuck, that should have been it. Like that should have been the
No, Putt actually
I
came
fought
out.
a kid.
Yeah.
We
I thought
so
of it
so one of the I don't think we've actually talked about how many episodes we're doing. We're doing 4 episodes of Death Race for this run. We're not sure if this is going to become something more later on. Frankly, I mean, to be honest, like the reason why we're able to do this is thanks to the sponsor for the series.
Yeah.
So if there's gonna be more, like maybe there's more. If you guys want to see more and you really share that demand with us, and share the series around. If it does well, then maybe there can be more. But because of the situation we were in with this series and with Devil working out with Source Filmmaker, there was, at least at first, sort of a limitation to like what we could use. Like what was the Source Filmmaker allow us to animate with? Because unfortunately, Source Filmmaker is not as robust as something like Maya or Unreal Engine or those sorts of things. So one of the cars that I was like, we need to get in there was Putt Putt. But unfortunately, there just wasn't really a good way to bring Putt Putt into Source Filmmaker, or at least there didn't already exist one. Now,
Real quick,
fortunately, as we were working through some of the matchups, we did find ways to sort of bring in cars that we weren't sure could actually come in. So we do have a much broader lineup of cars than we originally were thinking we could have. But Putt Putt unfortunately isn't one of them that we could get in there. But maybe if Death Race could come back for a second run, I'd totally be on board for
Am I
Putt
too
Putt.
old? How do I like? I've never heard of this thing. In my
No,
life.
actually,
What the fuck?
Actually,
You were-
Putt-Putt, yeah. So
you
do you
have
remember
missed out.
like all the? I don't know if they'd be counted as like DOS games, but like
Putt-Putt is an
Pajama
anime.
Sam,
I was saying it looks
Sam
like a
and
piece of
Max, that kind
Microsoft
of shit.
clip art.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
basically.
Putt-Putt was-
Did you ever play
Putt-Putt
Pajama
was one
Sam
of those,
as a
like-
kid?
Yeah,
Oh, I
No.
played the fuck out of Pajama Sam. I played so much Pajama Sam.
yeah.
I got into a
it's
fight
Humongous
with a kid
Entertainment.
over
from,
playing Putt Putt.
like. Yeah, they're video games from our generation, Chad. Like it is smack dab. Like in fact,
I don't know.
they should be from like I got the very tail end of them as a kid. Like I think Putt Putt was probably 95 or 94 or something like that when it popped off.
No knowledge whatsoever. Never heard of it.
Yeah, like early 90s. Putt Putt, Freddy Fish, Pajama Sam, Spy Fox, like the Humongous
Like-
Entertainment stuff. The kids or the games for like little kids kind of thing. There we go.
Yeah.
They had Putt Putt at my kindergarten on the computers, and I actually once got into a fight with a kid because he tried to cut in line and cut in front of me to play Putt Putt. So I
Fuck
fought
that
him.
kid deserved your ass whooping. Yeah. Fucking brutal. Trying to cut for
So I know
Putt-Putt.
Putt Putt.
Putt-Putt wouldn't
I've
put up
lost
with that
blood
shit.
for Putt Putt.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yes.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
you don't
old
remember
school
these
Putt
games?
Putt.
Oh hell yeah! You get all the stuff, like all the like key items in your console there. Like hell yes.
It's like a
dude.
point and click adventure
Those
game
games
for
Yeah.
2-year-olds basically.
Okay.
Visual novel.
But like their thing was that they especially as Humongous Entertainment kept making, I think Putt Putt was one of their very first games, that one we just saw. It was very early on. But like after a couple years they started incorporating like an animation style that was kind of equal to like TV style animation. You watch like Arthur or whatever as a kid in the morning, Magic School Bus, and then you go play Humongous Entertainment games and it looks identical, like animation quality, or sometimes even better. Pajama Sam was really cool looking.
Pajama Sam
Like
and
even
Sam
to this
and
day,
Max
it's a really
were,
cool
like,
game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sam and
I
Max.
was-
The concept
I was
of
playing,
that,
like Math
Chad.
Blaster and shit, dude. Like
That's the same. That's like the same sort
They're
of
the same
era of games, though.
Yeah.
It's the same generation. It's just you were on like the Nintendo side and we were on the Sega side. Is what happened of like this game.
Ah.
There's also that one with the rabbit that taught you math via like picking carrots and shit. What is that
Oh my god.
called? Yeah, like it's right there, right? Like
Something
it's not
Jackrabbit.
Jackrabbit.
Fuck.
It is Jackrabbit. God,
Oh
dude.
my
Math?
God.
With like a rabbit with
No,
math.
no. Like this is the whole thing because then like the dude who created it like wanted to make like some really good games. And shit.
Jazz Jackrabbit.
Jazz
No,
Jackrabbit.
no,
Yeah,
no.
there it is.
Oh.
Jazz Jackrabbit
Right?
is
Oh.
different. No, that's
Like
like a
the-
Sega
different.
game.
That
It's
is
like
different.
Sonic.
Math Rabbit.
No, it's not that one. Damn it!
Yeah, Jazz
Whatever.
Jackrabbit
The
was
chat's gonna
like
get caught up here in
Yeah,
a second.
sweet. There's a fucking sweet rock and roll song in it too. That was good as hell. Like
I don't
It's a
a
fucking
math
tits.
rabbit game. I don't know what you're talking about. I also
Can we-
avoided.
can we
I had one
play
Math Blaster
Putt
game
Putt?
as a kid, and I avoided math games after that because I hated math.
Can we play
Reader Rabbit?
Like Putt Putt on the next Death Battle cast? Can we just do like
Yes,
a let's
please.
play?
Chad
who
is
should
saying
putt
Reader
putt fight in a
Rabbit. Is
death
that right?
battle?
It might be that.
Yeah, Reader Rabbit. Reader Rabbit.
That
it
actually
is
sounds
Reader Rabbit.
familiar.
You got him.
Pajama
That's it.
Sam
Reader Rabbit.
versus.
Yeah, these
Death
games are
battle.
so similar to the
Yeah,
OG,
I remember
like,
Reader
to what
Rabbit.
we're talking about. Yeah. Yep, it's Reader Rabbit. Reader Rabbit, personalized math, age 6 to 9. Yep. Yeah, I def fucked with this.
Billy. Hey, Billy's in the chat. The voice of Ringmaster,
Billy?
Triple B.
Oh,
He says, "Kids infotainment game battle royale. Let's go."
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm
Oh
on
my
board
God.
with.
I wouldn't be surprised
I mean,
if there's some.
There's a
crazy
frog,
kid in
right?
one of
There's
those.
like leapfrog or some shit.
yeah.
Mavis.
I mean, there's a
Sam,
bunch.
Sam and Max, though. We've Sam and Max
no
legit
Mavis
have
Beacon.
guns.
Yeah, that's true. They do have guns.
Oh, Sam and Max are
they
like.
weren't-
That's a
They weren't
different.
educational. They were like they
What's
were
the
just
opposite of
in that
educational?
genre.
Yeah,
They were just in the same genre by the same
Real-
people.
real-
I think.
real
but that
quick.
was, like,
I would love to have.
Real quick, Cypher04 in the chat says Ben hates math, but that's what death metal is. Why do you think we got Liam over here?
yeah.
I'm not doing the math.
No one actually likes math. It's simply like your capacity for sadomasochism that allows you to do it on a regular basis.
No, but shout out to our research team for doing all those crazy calculations. Because man, some of them I would not be able to do for sure.
All right, y'all. Let me tell you something I love. Media. I know it's wild, but obviously through Death Battle, one thing we do a lot is celebrate other franchises and stuff people make. Like that's why we're all here, is because we love things, just shows in general, right? And one thing that I'm super excited about, and now I get to tell you a little bit about, is a new show called Close Enough. So this show is a new HBO Max show, and it comes from J.G. Quintel. I think I'm saying that right. But the deal is like this is the guy that made you might know the Regular Show with like Rigby and Mordecai, which is why I'm excited about this. Regular Show I think is one of the best animated shows in a very long time. Like the character structure arcs, how they grow up, and especially not to spoil anything, how wild the end of the franchise gets, and like how meaningful they make what seems like just a like simple cartoon is really like inspiring in a lot of things we do, especially as you've seen like lately with like the last few years of Death Battle moving forward. A lot of that inspiration comes from shows like Regular Show, where these characters come from really humble beginnings and become like super full-fledged characters. And so yeah, I'm excited to get to tell you guys about Close Enough, which is a new show that J.G. Quintel from the creator of Regular Show is making. It's about like a quirky family living in LA, and yeah, it's just I got a little sneak peek of the show and I can't say enough good things. So definitely go check it out. It premieres July 9th, and that's, well, probably today if you're watching this when this comes out. And yeah, it's totally worth it, man. We got trailers you can watch, and you can go sign up to watch it at HBO Max now. So hbomax.com/coming-soon/close enough, and check it out, because yeah, it's just, I got high hopes for the show, and I hope you guys give it a go as well.
I think what's also really great about them is that it's the math itself is like the actual like calculation part of it is actually not difficult. Like I do all the math like in a calculator, like online. The thing you have to know about it is just knowing which formulas to use and how to measure the things that you see. Besides, and that's not too difficult. It's just time consuming. Like if I have to pixel scale like this like planet based off of like the angle of this thing on this one comic panel, that can take a while. But then once you do it, it's just plug and chug, and boom, there you go. To that math and physics teacher, don't use any of our faster than light calculations, because that is something that is impossible in the real world. Only really. That would be the opposite of what you want to teach.
We kind of have to ignore some physics in order to make sense of some of the more crazy stuff. Like
Conservation
anything
of
faster than
energy.
light.
How do you destroy a universe with conservation of energy? That didn't make any sense in faster than light stuff too. Yeah, but it's that's in every fictional kind of thing.
That's one of the reasons why I say like once we get to those big numbers, it doesn't make any sense. So like there's no real logic to 50 billion like gigatons of TNT. Like that just doesn't happen. But we have to implement it somehow into Death Battle because it's the only way for this fictional event to happen. So take it for what it is, basically.
Try to use real world examples as much as possible. If I see something that's in like the kilotons, I'll go, oh, I can use like really old nuclear bombs as an example. Or if I see something that's like in the something foe, I can be like supernovas. It's like 100 billion supernovas. So yeah, that helps contextualize it.
Like
somewhat.
Ben mentioned earlier too, like, when sometimes it's just the math is just like a lot getting thrown at you. That's why we always have tried to ground that in stuff that's easier to understand. Like that's like, this many nuclear bombs or this many like semi trucks they're lifting or whatever, like because like when you just hear like the like slew of numbers, it's like it's just, I don't know, it's hard to visualize. So that's why we've always tried to do that. I remember Ben making a very specific point about doing that.
And sometimes even that is a bit much because, like, I believe in the She-Ra rundown we compared her strength to like lifting 1,000 Great Walls of China or something like that. Right? Like the whole wall, which is like that still doesn't. What does that mean? Like, I as a person do not know how heavy the Great Wall of China is. Like, I can't.
But
gauge
still,
that
that sounds more impressive than just like a number with a lot of zeros. Like,
yeah.
Joules.
All right. Well, on that note, so we've already mentioned if you want to vote for the upcoming DBX between Kenshin and Law, go do that. That is on the Death Battle Twitter. You can vote there and decide who you think should win the next DBX. As always, you can vote based on however you want. If you want Law or Kenshin to win because you think like based on their stats they would win, go for it. If you just think one character is cooler than the other and you'd like to see him win, go for that too. That's the beauty of DBX. It's a lot more open-ended than something like Death Battle. But I would like to present a community Death Battle where we do actually talk about the arguments and stuff. Where we, you can submit your argument for who should win and why in the community Death Battle. And specifically for this one, because of Death Race, I'd like to do a Death Race community Death Battle, like a community death race, essentially.
Okay.
Now I have one right now, but we did bring up Putt-Putt, and I'm curious if anybody has an idea for a community death race with Putt-Putt.
I saw it in the chat when you were talking about this. Putt-Putt versus the Magic School Bus was the first thing I saw.
I mean, the Magic School Bus is so magic.
Magic School Bus is
like,
the Magic School Bus I would not put against anything. That thing's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, it sounds pretty good for a death race itself, where things go crazy. Get ready for some later episodes. But for like a more straightforward community Death Battle style, I don't know. Okay, I'm going. I don't expect there to be anything if I look up Putt-Putt Death Battle, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Hey, there might be, man. You never know.
The first one that pops up is of course Putt-Putt versus Thanos.
Sure. Let's do it.
They are both purple, which does seem to be a lot of times people make a
I'm about to throw
solely based on color.
Since this episode's like had that recurring theme of these fucking deep pulls, I'm gonna say Putt-Putt versus the car from the animated Ghostbusters show. No, not the real Ghostbusters. The first Ghostbusters animated show and they're the reason that then they had to call the Ghostbusters show that we all know the real Ghostbusters. Yes, the one with the gorilla. Yes.
The car, does it have a name?
I don't remember its name, but it is alive and it can talk. I'm pretty sure it's possessed by a ghost. All
right. Here's what we're gonna do.
No one's gonna know what the fuck.
No, here's what we're gonna do. And this is a deep pull as well. But I think it'll be a deep pull that will make it a little bit more sense. How about Putt-Putt from Putt-Putt versus Kit from Knight Rider? Like two very opposite kinds of cars.
Well,
Kid
he's like all
has
cartoon
fucking
physics, right?
missiles and shit.
They're both alive. They both have a bunch of like tech and stuff. But
what tech does Putt-Putt have?
He's alive.
Okay, I guess Putt-Putt doesn't have tech. What he has is his antenna becomes an arm. He can just like reach out with his antenna and grab whatever's around him.
And just throws Kit into the sun.
All right, fine. Then we can do Putt-Putt versus Lightning McQueen.
Yeah, that seems like hella reasonable. Like we're there. That's great. Like,
Fine.
let's see Putt Putt versus Lightning McQueen. Chad, I'm into the Ghostbusters one, but you can't even Google it because you just get ruined by the actual Ghostbusters. Like,
Dude,
Not
that
the
whole
Ghostbusters
licensing nightmare, that's
car,
still so
like-
funny to me. That so they managed to get a cartoon show called Ghostbusters
Right.
before like
Real
Ghostbusters could. Yep.
It's from a really
Or
old
could
Right,
you
and
Herbie,
even
since
the
Herbie-
name that they went with is like a fuck you. You know, like the real Ghostbusters. You know what you did.
All right, how about this? We've already confirmed that even though everybody thinks next episode of Death Race has Herbie, it's not actually Herbie. So we can do Putt Putt versus Herbie. That's probably the most even matchup we can
I
get.
like
right
it.
Oh, that could
I
be
dig
good.
it. I dig
All
it.
right, so let's do Putt Putt versus Herbie the Love Bug. That's our next community death battle / community death race.
This might be
so let
like
us
our
know.
most. This might be the most uneven like vote. I think like we could get like 90% Putt Putt. I think we should get 90% Putt Putt.
No,
I think that we
dude,
should.
there's
I
some
think we should fight for
people-
that.
There's some people in the comment
There's
section that are so lit for Herbie. Like, I did not know
Oh, yeah.
that the Herbie diehards would come out for this one, but like Herbie stands are fucking going wild in the comment section. So,
Yeah, so and this
So-
might help because I hate to disappoint the Herbie stands,
Yeah.
as crazy as that sounds. So we'll do.
this is a-
Thomas the Dank.
Oh my god! I mean,
You-
we'll have to do a community
Yeah.
death race with Thomas the Tank
Also
Engine
not
later.
it.
Thomas the Dank Engine later as well. But anyway, this one will be Putt Putt from Humongous Entertainment versus Herbie the Love Bug. Let us know who you think should win in a death race and why. On Twitter, you can use hashtag DeathBattleCast to let us know why. There will be a poll on the Death Battle Twitter later on this week. I think whenever this episode goes public, right, Sam?
yeah.
Also,
So
are we
let us
gonna
know
tell them
who you
who's
think
the
should win.
third combatant in Death Race, or you want to save that for post show, or just wait for the episode?
We've been teasing it the whole episode, so let's go ahead and do it. I feel like we might as well. There's also going to be a post, I think, honestly, later today that actually does reveal
Oh,
it,
yeah,
so it's
then we
fine.
might as well just
So it's going to be the the Ford Anglia, the flying car from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. That's what it is.
Got him.
Yep.
It's not Herbie. Sorry, Herbie
You were
stands.
all wrong.
But yes, the theme is living cars. And so we
Yeah.
took very different kinds of living vehicles from Lightning McQueen, who literally has eyes, to Thomas the Tank Engine. Whatever that means.
Has no soul.
Who has no soul. All right. So that about wraps it up, I think, for this wonderfully weird episode of Death Battle Cast. Thank you again so much, Liam, for joining us.
No problem. Thank you for having
We'll
me.
definitely have you on later on after all 4 episodes of Death Race air, so that we can like really
Cannot
get into the the weird shit that we some of these scripts get into.
It's gonna be good.
Chitty Chitty
excited.
Bang Bang.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's a good one. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang would be good for Death Race. All right, we got plenty of ideas. We'll do like community death battle, like community death races for a little while as this show is going on. So let us know if you think you have any good ideas for upcoming death race or community death race matchups. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. We will be on our sudden death first exclusive show after this. That will be released whenever this episode goes public. So join us there if you're a first member, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.